and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree, and if you love all things art, illustration, tutorials, please subscribe to my channel. We would love to have you. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I made a 3D room in Blender. Now in my last video, I showed you how I edit all of my videos, I showed you how I put together this background behind me, but I did not show you how I made it. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you step by step how I created this 3D background in Blender. And before I begin, let me just preface this by saying in this video, you're going to see me do a lot of things that might not be the most accurate way to do them. I can already feel people yelling at me through the screen being like, this is not how you do it, that's not how you do it. Totally understand, but this is just how I do things, so I'm sorry if there is a better way to do it. Please feel free to correct me down below with how you do it. I also want to add that this tutorial is based on if you already have really super basic knowledge of how to work and navigate Blender already. If you don't, I would suggest watching Blender Guru's super basic tutorial for beginners before you watch this video. With that being said, let's get into the tutorial. So cool, we are in Blender right now. We're gonna start with a new project. We'll click General, and with every general project you get this little cube, which is perfect because that will be our room. So I'm gonna scale it up. So I want to select two of the sides to delete so I can create the room. So I select two of them in edit mode and I delete. And there we go, that is gonna be our room. So I wanna make this a little wider because we need a little more space for our window and our desk. Okay, so there are a couple ways to make windows in Blender. I just like to use the subdivide tool in edit mode, and I just like create this little square, and I go back and I select faces and I delete it. And there you go, that is your window. We have a window, guys. Okay, so in my last video, you saw that I created a green screen and I want to make that in Blender. So I just go in object mode and I add a plane. And because I have different camera angles, I don't like seeing the sides of the actual green screen. See, look, like there's nothing there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude some of the sides of the panel so that when I turn the camera, you're not going to see just like an empty abyss. You'll see more of the green screen. So I go to edit mode, I select the side and I extrude that out. And there you have it. See, now you can't see any of the sides. They're all blocked off. Okay, now we gotta make this green screen green. So we're gonna go into the materials panel, select a green color, and that's it. Easy as that, we have a green screen. Okay, so these are gonna be the last things in my room that I actually create manually. Everything else I'm actually gonna be using models for. However, you can definitely make all of your furniture and all your materials from scratch by yourself. I really do suggest when you are using Blender, or when you're starting off using Blender, to kind of just like make everything yourself. Like start with something super simple because it really helps to kind of get used to the program and like build confidence. Like here are some examples of projects that I started before I ever even knew I could use models, and I use a lot of tutorials that help me learn how to make builds and materials and like sculpt, and it really helped. Like I think that's the reason I have like more confidence now, is that I started from doing everything from scratch. And honestly, it can like be very fun. But if you don't have the time or the patience to make all materials by yourself, you can always use a website like BlenderKit. It is a free Blender plugin. It has thousands of models and materials and HDR, scenes, brushes. It has everything. And a lot of it is for free, which is really nice. And that's basically what I use to make this room. Like they really have everything you could ever want on here, like furniture, food. They have all these really cool HDR sets, super great. So you're gonna want to download BlenderKit, and they have a super simple tutorial of how to actually add that into Blender so you can have it as a plugin. And once you have that installed, you can see all of the stuff that they have on there, models, materials, scenes. I click on free first because I do not have a subscription yet. And you would think because it's like all the free models they have that they wouldn't be great, but they have so many good free ones. So I'm gonna look for a window since I have my window here first. This one looks good. And look, I've added it to the sides. You can duplicate it. And there we go. Okay, I'm gonna switch on my material preview, and there you go, that is my window. So let's select the material for the walls and floor. I'm gonna type in vintage. Let's see what I get. I kind of want to like an old wallpaper, something dark. Okay, that looks good. Let's look for wood floors now. Ooh, I like this. And the nice thing about this is that you don't actually have to make your own material. I know for me, making my own material could take a lot of work and time. I just do not have that. Okay, and let's add some objects. So let me add some objects to this table. We have a record player, some pillows. Let's add some pillows. So what you want to do, you can click on it and you can actually drag that object down to where you want it. And it'll take a little second to load, and there you go. Now I have this like weird vase with like a plant in it. It's really cool. And the super cool part about all these objects is that they are editable. So you can go in and select whatever shape, like this leaf. I can move it around, I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller. You can also change the material of objects too, which is really cool. So if you are not feeling the original material it came with, you can change it to whatever you want in the materials panel. Okay, so let's add some art because this is what's gonna go on directly behind me. I just type in frames and here we go. We have some pictures. This one looks like stock photos of random people in families, so that's cool. But I want to add my own art to my wall as if this would be my room. So I'm gonna go into add images and reference. You can do this a couple different ways, but I just go and I add reference as a material. You can also add it to planes as well. And I select the image that I want. And there we go, my little frog and toad picture. So we can just shrink that down and place it onto the wall, and there we go. Like a little poster, we have it. We have a little picture on our wall that we made, which is very cool. So I'm gonna add a couple more. You can even put these pictures in frames like I did with this portrait. I just put in a little frame. Super simple, super easy. It's kind of like playing Sims in a way. You're just like adding materials, and I'm gonna add pillows. It's kind of like a game almost, which is really fun. So I'm just gonna add a couple more objects. I don't really need to add a lot of these because they won't actually be in the camera angle. But I don't know, I just feel like doing it for fun because at the end of the day, you never know if I wanna like shoot my video from different angles, what I'll need, so might as well. So now that I have all of my objects in and I'm pretty satisfied with it, let's get into the lighting and shading part, which is kind of my favorite part because that's when you get to see the actual scene come to life. So right now I'm in the material preview, which shows you all of the actual material that is on each object. Okay, so up here they have viewport shading, and I usually like to work on my project from the solid preview because my project just like it runs faster that way because it's not loading a bunch of materials, and you can actually see where objects are opposed to when they have color on it. And let's toggle through material preview. That's to see all of the actual color and material on each object, but I need to go to rendered to see the lighting. See, look, now that I'm in rendered, I don't actually have any lights besides the ones that the actual objects came with. So let's add some lights. We go to add light, point light, and in the material viewport you can't actually see what the lighting is, but when you toggle to the shading, that's when you see it. That is a little yellow light. Ooh, very, very scary. Okay, so this is just one light, but I'm gonna need a lot more. I also have to light up my green screen so that it can show. I'm gonna use this light. And there we go. That is lighting up my green screen. Perfect. Okay, now let's light up the rest of the room. I'm gonna just keep adding point lights. This one is yellow. I also like to add a lot of different color. It kind of makes the mood a little different. It gives some dimension to the room and the objects. And you can actually change the color and the power on the side where you see that little light bulb icon. So I'm gonna change this a little red and green. Let's make it yellow. The power here we can change as well. And the other cool thing you can do, if some of your objects, like the lamps or like some of the candles, don't actually come with their own light, you can just add a light. So I'm gonna use a little tiny point light and I'm gonna add it to this lamp. And there we go, we have a little light. We can move it around, we can adjust it, change the brightness and the size, make it look a little more realistic. Very, very cool. I added the light to some candles and also that like weird lantern in the bookshelf. and very good. Now we have all of our lights, and I'm pretty satisfied with the lighting. Like I said in my last video, I just do all my animation in post, like the candle flickering, all the wall lights, also the mushroom neon sign I do just as like a picture that I light up. Could you do all of it in Blender? Absolutely. Could you animate it in Blender as well? Yes. I just however choose not to, because every time I do, my computer sounds like a rocket launch. So I just find it easier to opt out. And I'm lazy. I think most of this tutorial is just you seeing me being lazy and trying to do things with as many shortcuts as possible. So yeah, that's my advice. Just be lazy. Okay, so we have our lights, we have our objects. Now let's get our camera in here so we can actually render this out. So we're gonna go to add camera, and there we go. So here is our camera. Let's back it up. This is our camera, and the really cool thing about the camera, you can adjust the size, the perspective type, whatever you need to. It's all right here in the camera panel. And if you click on this little icon, this little camera icon, you can actually see the POV of the camera itself, which is really helpful for when you're rendering things out. And you can actually move it from this angle as well. Move over a little bit, let's see, high angle, low angle, and there we have it. When you like your angle, you are ready to render. So we're gonna go to render this image, and that is it. That is our render image. It's super easy. I like to take many shots at different angles just in case I need it, or if I ever move my actual camera angle and I need to change the angle of my render, I have it and I can always use it later. Alright, and there you have it. That has been my tutorial on Blender. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on all the social medias, you know the drill. In my next video, I'm hoping to go back to some illustration. It's been a while for me and I miss it, but yeah, stay tuned for that. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!